Welcome to Millionaire Mindset, where we give you ways and advice to achieve financial freedom. Today, we will be looking inside 10 prestigious castles in the world. They were built by powerful royal families of history, and they stand the test of time with their amazing architecture. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell to get notified when we publish new videos. And be sure to watch the entire video to avoid missing any important details. Send us your questions and suggestions in the comment section because we'd love to hear from you. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Number 1. Versailles Palace. For our first one, let's go to France where we can see the Versailles Palace. Did you know that it started as a small hunting lodge back in the early 17th century? For some reason, it became the seat of French imperial power, and the palace was well preserved, and we can still appreciate its elegance today. It is estimated that the total cost of the palace in today's money is around $300 billion. Some of its wonders inside include the Hall of Mirrors and numerous salons, each one assigned with a Greek god. One of which is the Salon of Mercury. That was the official bedroom of the French kings. Most of these salons feature gold leaf and painted ceilings. Outside the palace is equally incredible, with several fountains, canals, and beautiful gardens. Versailles Palace hosts more tourists than the Eiffel Tower annually, believe it or not, with almost 8 million. Number 2. ELTZ Castle. This one's much older because the construction of the ELTZ Castle began in 1137. The castle was home to the Holy Roman Empire and it was a witness to so many battles, including that one time when the royal family itself opposed the rule of the local archbishop, resulting in a diocese starting a 2-year siege. Despite this, the ELTZ Castle maintained its classic architecture and beauty until today. It now serves as a museum for tourists, and some of the must-see items here are the treasury of gold, silver, and porcelain artifacts, and the armory of weapons and suits. However, the ELTZ family lost almost all of their wealth in the 19th century, and most of them even left Germany and went to the United States in the 1700s. It is believed that some of them were part of the Revolutionary War. Number 3. Stirling Castle. We go now to Stirling, Scotland, where this castle dominates the skyline. The fortress was put on the top of the hill so that the residents could watch for outsiders. The first buildings were built in 1490 and became home to many Scottish kings like James IV up until the 6th. The architecture of the castle had a mix of English, German, and French influences. But Stirling Castle suffered major damages throughout its life. That's why the government invested £12 million to restore its beauty. Inside, you can see a tapestry gallery, many bedrooms, ornate fireplaces, and some original cannons that point to the countryside. Stirling Castle also had a new function because it became a concert venue for some big artists like Bob Dylan and Rod Stewart. Number 4. TOPKAPI Palace. We will fly to Asia for number 4 as TOPKAPI Palace can be found in Istanbul, Turkey. It housed several 15th and 16th century Ottoman sultans. Much like the others on this list, this palace now serves as a museum for tourists. It also became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985, so you don't want to miss this whenever you visit the country. It consisted of 4 courtyards with an ornate gate and plenty of rooms inside for the royals to lounge and chill. The former imperial treasury now hosts an exhibit that shows authentic Ottoman armor and weapons complete with their intricate designs. There's also a portrait gallery for some Ottoman paintings collected throughout history. You can also find a bath complex, which is a Turkish palace staple. You can also find an aviary and a luxurious garden in the yard of the palace. Number 5. MALBORK Castle. We are back in Europe. This is one of the older ones on this list. MALBORK Castle was built by German Teutonic Knights in the 1200s, but it was sold to Poland in 1457 specifically to King Casimir IV. This became the official house of the Polish royals until the 18th century. The Germans tried to get the castle back but were unsuccessful. Now, MALBORK Castle is one of Poland's most coveted historical monuments. According to historians, many of the members of the Polish royal family like to travel by boat and enjoy the river cruises during summertime since the castle is located near the northwestern part of the Neugat River. And since Poland is also known for its elegant amber gems, one of the features of the castle now is its amber exhibit, which can be found on one of its wings. Number 6. Chateau Chambord. This one is in contention with Versailles Palace in terms of luxury and elegance. This French palace was constructed for almost 3 decades, starting with 1519. But before that, it served as a hunting lodge for Francis I. In the 1700s, the French royals accumulated so much wealth and kept them for themselves. And this fueled the infamous French Revolution, where many of the starving population overthrew their own royals. That's why many of the family's collections were either stolen or sold. Inside, you can see the always noticeable twin stone spiral staircase that go from the ground floor to the second floor. Meanwhile, outside, you can see the 13,000-acre park and nature reserve that is home to the native red deer and other animals. It is estimated that around 700,000 tourists visit this popular attraction every year. Number 7. Edinburgh Castle. The 7th on our list is also our second Scottish castle, and much like Stirling, it served as a fortress for attackers. Actually, this castle had been a witness to so many wars. It is believed that this is the most sieged castle in the UK, with 26 and one of the most attacked castles in the world. No surprise, since it's been around for almost 1,100 years now. Some of the wars that happened here were the 15th century Scottish independence and the Jacobite Rising of 1745. With over 2 million annual visitors, it is estimated that 70% of tourists in Edinburgh take the time to at least see the castle. The Royal Palace complex houses painted ceilings and the crown, scepter, and sword of one of the former kings. They also host reenactments of former historic battles and traditional Scottish songs and customs. Number 8. Windsor Castle. We will stay in the UK for 8-1, but this time, we will go to England. The castle started when William the Conqueror decided to invest his hoarded wealth in a palace for himself. Now it is still considered the oldest and largest occupied castle in the whole world. Yes, Windsor Castle is still used by the royal family today to host and impress visiting heads of the state from other countries, and when Queen Elizabeth gets bored on the Buckingham Palace. That's why the castle is not open to the public. One of the best features of the castle is the idyllic woodlands around it. It is believed to be one of the oldest broadleaf woodlands on the whole continent. Windsor Castle is worth around $236 million in today's money according to a 2017 report. But it is not as expensive as Buckingham Palace, which is valued at $5 billion. Number 9. Himeji Castle. We will fly out to Asia for one last time to visit Japan's Himeji Castle. Considered by many to be the quintessential classical Japanese architecture, and rightfully so because it is included as Japan's 5 National Treasure, a prestigious list of the country's wonders. Although built during war times and acted as a fortress, the castle today is nothing but peaceful and serene. And the castle is pretty big too, with 533 hectares of covered area. Around the castle, you can see Japanese cypress and fir trees. With its beauty unique to Westerners, it had been featured in several Western films like the James Bond movie You Only Live Twice. By estimates, around 2 million visitors flock to the castle every year. Number 10. Neuschwanstein Castle. And for our last one, we head back to Germany for this great Bavarian castle. It is the newest one on this list too, having been built in the 19th century, 1886 to be exact. Anyone who knows Disney might see a familiar image when looking at the castle. That is because Walt Disney used it as the basis for Sleeping Beauty's castle in Disneyland. Neuschwanstein Castle is also on the shortlist for the new 7 Wonders of the World, a truly iconic architecture. It is estimated to be around $950 million in today's money. The castle is very noticeable in every direction because it is located on the very top of Mount Solling. With a building this big, you just know that an enormous amount of materials were used in this construction. The builders used 465 tons of Salzburg marble, 1,550 tons of sandstone, around 400,000 bricks, and 2,680 cubic yards of wood. Like most on this list, it is open to the public where you can widen its convoluted passageways. It truly is the perfect setting for a fairy tale story. That's our list for today. Let me know in the comment what are your favorites among these castles. Do you want to live in a castle too? Also, if there are any beautiful castles and architectures that I missed, feel free to share them with us. Join us again next time here in Millionaire Mindset for another round of tips in achieving your financial freedom. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.